这姑苏的天子笑，天下驰名。不买2坛酒，总不为过吧？谁知道我一口还没有喝，就被蓝湛给打碎了1坛。不买2坛酒，总不为过吧？不买2坛酒，总不为过吧？不买2坛酒，总不为过吧？
2 pots of wine. 2坛酒. 2 means 2. 酒 means wine. 坛 is the measuring word for liquid, such as wine. 2 pots of wine. 2坛酒. 2坛酒. We can use tan for all these types of wine containers. It doesn't matter if they are big or small, tall or short. As long as the main shape of the container is round, we use tan as a measuring word for a wine container. Let's see what kind of wine containers appeared in the drama The Untamed. This one is definitely the most famous wine. You can see cloud patterns on the container. There is a video that introduces what the Chinese cloud pattern means. If you are interested, please check it out. The link of the video is in the description box down below. Let's keep looking for wine containers in the drama. Did you notice the big white wine containers near the window? Now look carefully. You will see 2 small black wine containers on the table where Wei Wuxian and Lan Xichen sat. Let's have a closer look. The measuring word for the wine in this type of container is tan. There are, of course, more wine containers in the drama. Have a look. Notice the small black wine container on the table? Let's have a closer look. The measuring word for this type of container is different than tan. Chinese people prefer to use the measuring word hu for wine containers that are elongated. The major difference between tan and hu is that tan is more round while hu is more elongated. Here are 5 pots of wine. In Mandarin Chinese, we say 5坛酒. Here are 5 jars of wine. In Mandarin Chinese, we say 5壶酒. This is a scene that Wei Wuxian drank wine from this kind of container. Chinese people do not use tan as a measuring word for this type of wine container. Containers made of gourds are specifically called hu. Here are 2 gourd-shaped containers of wine. In Mandarin Chinese, we say 2壶酒. 2壶酒. Of course, the measuring word hu can be used for other types of containers too. We'll learn about it later. You probably see these types of wine containers quite often nowadays. The measuring word for these bottles is ping. Mandarin Chinese for 2 bottles of wine is 2瓶酒. 2瓶酒. Let's review. When you see roundish wine containers like this, use the measuring word tan. When you see more elongated wine containers, use the measuring word hu. You also use the word hu for gourd-shaped containers of wine. In daily life, Chinese people use ping for wine bottles. Learning Chinese measuring words requires memorization. Eventually, you'll know which measuring words go with which nouns. Now let's continue watching more video clips. and learn about the Mandarin Chinese word for two, which is liǎng.
赶紧把你那破剑收好，我就等你回来赶紧拿走。我可不想整天带着2把剑，天天被人问东问西的。我可不想整天带着2把剑，我可不想整天带着2把剑，我可不想整天带着2把剑。
Two swords. 2把剑. 2把剑. 两 means two. 剑 means sword. 把 is the measuring word for sword. When there are 2 third tones in a row, the first one becomes a second tone. This rule is always followed even though it will not be reflected in the pinyin. 两把剑 should be pronounced as 两把剑. There are other nouns that use 把 as their measuring word. You can practice the phrase 两把 by using the following nouns. Don't worry if you can't memorize everything immediately. As you hear the Chinese pronunciation more often, you will get the hang of it. 2 swords. 两把剑. 2 knives. 两把刀. 2 scissors. 两把剪刀. 2 hammers. 两把锤子. 2 rulers. 两把尺子. 2 locks. 两把锁. 2 guns. 两把枪. 2 combs. 两把梳子. 2 fans. 两把扇子. 2 umbrellas. 两把伞. 2 chairs. 两把椅子. If you keep on practicing, eventually you will remember which nouns go with which measuring words. And remember, practice makes progress. Let's continue with our lesson for liǎng.
不过是吹2声笛子，这算哪门子的真本事？
我又没使阴谋诡计，怎么就不算？不然你也吹2声笛子，看看有没有什么东西要跟你走啊？
不过是吹2声笛子，不过是吹2声笛子，不过是吹2声笛子。
不然你也吹2声笛子，不然你也吹2声笛子，不然你也吹2声笛子。
Play the flute. 吹2声笛子. 两 means two. Even though the word liǎng is used in this phrase, the meaning has nothing to do with two of anything. It simply means to play the flute. If someone asks you to 吹2声笛子, they are not asking you, for example, to play 2 notes. You can play however long you see fit. 吹笛子 means the same thing. As for why 两声 is sometimes included in this phrase, there is no particular reason. The language god just said so. Roll with it.
3番2次找子轩麻烦，
而是你堂弟3番2次对我师姐恶语相向。
3番2次找子轩麻烦，
而是你堂弟3番2次对我师姐恶语相向。
3番2次. 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 3番 literally means 3 times. 2次 literally means twice. This expression simply means repeatedly doing something. 3番2次. 3番2次. Let's look at a couple of example sentences from purpleculture.net. He takes advantage of her kindness and borrows money too often.
他利用她人好心软，3番2次向她借钱。
Ruth talks about her trip to Europe all the time, and her friends are tired of it.
露丝3番2次地谈她的欧洲之行，她的朋友们都听腻了。
Now we have reached the end of our lesson for the Chinese word liǎng. As you watch the drama The Untamed, or any other shows, pay attention to detailed conversations. I am sure you will find more scenes that have the word liǎng. So far, we have learned 3 expressions for to. I hope you learned something new and can use it in your Chinese learning journey. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!